Brian, just firstly then, just team news ahead of this one. What's the latest with the squad?
Brett Ferris is available. I think that's the significant news. We came out of the Catalan game reasonably well, but we're just going to check on a few people. Mitch Garbutt should be available from his concussion from the Huddersfield game. In between that time, Mitch and his wife have give birth to another baby there, so congratulations to his wife. But so therefore Mitch hasn't signed everything off in terms of his return to play with the concussion, but he should be okay. But not too much change, I don't think.
Mitch and the family doing well?
Yeah. She's only given birth last week, so yeah, I should imagine everything's all good there. But it's a big move. It's a big move for anybody, as everybody knows who's had a kid, but especially if you're overseas and you're from overseas and you're going to different hospitals and she doesn't have a family around her and mates around her that she probably would have back in Australia. So it was a significant thing for him.
And on Brett Ferris as well, how big a boost is it to have him back now?
Well, we've got to start that process with him now of getting him back up to speed. So he's done a good amount of running in his final stages of his rehab, and he won't be match fit on Sunday, but it'll be great to get some game time into him and we can start building him back up.
I know in the last round when you faced League One opposition you made a few changes. What are you thinking team-wise for this one?
I won't be making any rest. Nobody will be resting. I said that to the players on Monday, that this is not a rest week, and with the greatest respect to Doncaster, it was an opportunity to rest a couple of soldiers who carried the team with work ethic over the last few weeks, but not this one. We win this one, we're through to the knockout stages. It starts to get exciting, and Barrow are, probably a championship team in the division below, aren't they? So we're taking this game seriously, and we won't be fiddling about with the team too much.
In terms of Barrow as a team, then what do you make of them?
Do you know what? It's been really hard to get footage. We've watched a couple of games, and the games that we've got, I've seen them with, some blowout scores almost, and it's an hard read. What that tells you is that they're clearly a good team. We know a few of their personnel that they've got. I've worked with one of them, Oliver Wilkes, who's a very committed player, who's got great leadership, and I'm sure he'll whip the fellas up into a frenzy and get ready for a great visit down at Headingley. So we're expecting a tough encounter. I think we did a really good job against Doncaster. I think sometimes it's hard to grasp. You've got to get up for those games when you've got somebody like a Mitch Garbutt, when he carries the ball, can not break tackles at will, but he finds it easier than he does at Super League level. To get your fellas up for those type of games and be able to do a job, which we did against Doncaster for 40 minutes, and after that we were found wanting, wasn't we? And we're keen that we do a job and get ready to do a job against a very competitive Barrow. And
also just on the 4 players that have gone out on loan to Bradford, how important is it for you for them to have that continuation of game time?
It's massive. It's a really difficult one. We've got some important fixtures coming up, and we're going to be without those players. And then we start to cover off the second catch-up fixture when we play, I think, Warrington on the Friday night and Widnes away on the Monday, and they'll be away for that, then on loan for that. So the question is, do we keep them here with us? And all likelihood is that they won't play. We can only put so many players with Featherstone and Joe Redden with Featherstone. And then if we do keep them back with us and they don't play, and then we require them maybe over that second backlog fixture, then they haven't played for 2-3 weeks, and they will suffer. They can't just jump up to Super League without playing any games. Or then we go put them, on loan and start that process again. They've got to go away for a month. We can't call them back within a month. We get that month out of the way, and if and when we need them after that, they're sharp. They've been working at a very good level. So it's really important. We value our relationship with Bradford extremely high. It's an environment they've all been in before, other than Cam Smith, and they've all prospered. They've all talked about how they've enjoyed it. They've really enjoyed being coached by Jeff Tuvey. He's no slouch as a coach. He's got a huge amount of NRL experience, and it's doing them good. There's no doubt it's doing them good.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Barrow had a big win against Keighley last night. 3 games a week for them, but they won't lack for motivation on Sunday.
No, I wouldn't imagine so, and I'd imagine there'd be some excitement in the camp, and it wouldn't be false excitement. And I know people will say, well, this is their Challenge Cup final and quotes like that. I think Barrow will be expecting to beat us. I think they'll be planning to beat us. I don't think they'll be thinking, well, let's give a good account of ourselves and let's enjoy the bus trip back home. I think they'll be coming down to beat us, and that's a bit of a sobering thought, and we've got to get ready for some stiff opposition. And as I've often said, I think I made mention of this in the build-up to Doncaster, that rugby league's, it's almost too honest a game really at times, and if you don't get it right, if we don't get our bit right, I don't care what level they play, we could be playing amateurs, it would be a hard game, and there is a chance of getting beat if we don't get this right. So we've got a huge desire to get through to the later stage of the Challenge Cup, and you know, this Barrow's in our way.
Big occasion for Brad Singleton against his hometown club as well.
I would imagine it is, yeah. I keep telling him he's rested this week, and which he hasn't smiled at all. He's seen no funny side of it. But no, it'd be a big thing for Brad. He made a big call there, Brad, when he was 16 to leave home. And there's a lot of critics about today's youth and how the young fellas don't want to work at it. Well, here's an example of a young bloke that came down a few years ago now. He was 16 when he came down, left his family, went and lived with Bob Pickles, who's been our chief scout for a lot of years, and has done the hard yards, Brad. He's questions were asked of him, and expectation on him was high when he first came down. He's been on loan to Dewsbury, Hunslet, Wakefield, I think somebody else, dual regging with people, and finds himself in a good position with us at the moment. Still got stuff to work on, but what you get when you put him on the field is aggression and work ethic and some of that presence that you know we've probably lacked since JP left. And I'm not saying Brad Singleton fills that role just yet, but you can see where he's going if he carries it on. So moments like this where he gets to play against his hometown, and I'm sure they all look at Brad and think, he's one of us that's done really well, and it should be a proud day for Brad.
It's noticeable now, particularly in the warm-up and things like that very vocal now, especially in that forward group.
Yeah, and that doesn't naturally happen. It doesn't. You can't force that to happen, is what I'm trying to say. I've often talked to Brad about owning the group a little bit and taking charge of it. He himself is quite a domineering character in his own circles. He's quite a smart lad, and within a group of people, you can see that when they're all taking mickey out of each other, there's not many takes a mickey out of him. He's quite sharp, a bit of an intellect. But then to be able to take charge of a Cuthbertson and a Galloway and a Brett Ferris and a Carl Ablett, who've been around years and years and years, he's not doing that, but you can see where it's going to go. And at this stage in time, he doesn't mind standing up and saying, well, look, this is what I'm going to do. I'd like you to follow me, and I'm just going to go out there and give you some examples of what it needs to look like, and he does that really well.
You mentioned Brett Ferris returning from his suspension. He had that groin injury at the same time. Has the break given him a chance to get that sorted?
Yeah, it has. He's been a funny one there. He's been seeing a couple of people outside the camp. Andy Barker's done a great job with him and has tried to get to the root of the problem. And it's great that Andy's gone and sought help outside the camp, which I suppose in the world of medicine, it's a bit like the world of strength and conditioning. Everybody thinks the bee's knees at it. Well, he's going to see somebody else, and he's got 1 or 2 tips, and it helped him. He actually went to see a guy in Ireland there, and he was giving him some feedback, and it's been really beneficial. So the combination of the ban and the injury there he's had, he's done a lot of reflecting as Brett Ferris, and I'm keen to see him back playing.
Ryan Hall and Callum Watkins were in action over in Australia last weekend. How have they returned? Good. I think Ryan's glad to be back, and Callum said he really enjoyed it. They both really enjoyed the game. They enjoyed playing, representing the country.
and come back with a win, and let's hope it's beneficial towards the end of the year. But they come back with those and they're ready to go.
In terms of last week's game, Tom Brisco left the stadium with a boot on. How's he for this weekend?
We're not playing well Sunday, and today's only Thursday, so I'm not sure if he's running today. And if he isn't running today, we'll have a look tomorrow and the day after. But so he finished the game. He got up and finished the game, and I thought Tom were great. He's the best game he'd had for a long while against Catalans there, and got back to some of what he does well. So hopefully he pulls through. Jack
Walker's been involved with the first team. He was back with the 19s last week. Is there anyone else you're looking to bring through from that group?
There's a kid called Alex Sutcliffe who's committed to us just recently, and he's been showing some good traits. He had a shoulder injury. He was flying maybe about 6 weeks ago, and got a shoulder injury. He's included in the 19-man squad, and if depending on injuries and who pulls through and who doesn't pull through, he may well be involved on Sunday as well.